Great day for Napoli fans as they go 3 points clear at the top of the table, but another disappointing day for AC Milan fans as they draw once again. Time 1-1 away from home at Atalanta, and to be honest, it was a bit of a lackluster performance in my opinion from AC Milan's perspective, and I think that Atalanta overall were actually the better team today and probably deserved to get the 3 points just at the end of the game. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 10k subs. Thank you so much for all the recent support, boys. I'm truly grateful. Like the video if you enjoyed, share it with some friends. And as always, and most importantly, let me know your opinion and your thoughts on the game and today's Serie A matches in general in the comment section down below. And without further ado, let's analyze this game. As we can see from the momentum, as I said, I thought Atalanta were the better team in general, so I thought they were on top for most of the game, and the momentum sort of proves it. We can see that the first half was all Atalanta apart from the start, where AC Milan's goal came with a little bit of fortune. It did come with a little bit of fortune. It was a shot from the edge of the box by Ricci from a corner. It took a massive deflection off Ederson, I believe, and it just takes it away from Carnesecchi. I think Carnesecchi would have definitely saved that. It was pretty comfortable in my opinion. It was straight in his eye line, but that deflection just changed everything. And at the end of the day, AC Milan go 1-0 up in the 5th minute. Oh, 4th minute actually. And I'm thinking, wow, this will be a comfortable win for AC Milan now. It will be pretty easy. It will be pretty routine with a strong defence that they have. They'll hit them in transition. They'll get the second. They'll get the third. But in reality, it was the opposite. It was completely juxtaposed. I thought Atalanta after that responded really well. They were really positive throughout the rest of the game. And I thought overall, they actually deserved to get more. And in that first half especially, Atalanta were peppering AC Milan. It was really flattering, let's say, for it to be 1-1 by the end of the first half. I believe Ederson had a chance. The centre half for Atalanta, what was his name? The young guy, Ahanor, had a very good opportunity. The 17-year-old, let's be real, he should be scoring that on his. I know it's his left foot. He's in the box, bit rash. He's young, but he should be hitting the target. That should have been 1-1 at the time. Actually, that was before Ademola Lookman's equaliser. And AC Milan had a little bit of a spell here where they were good on top for a good 10 minutes in that second half, where they looked like they were creating something. I think Salamakers had a great opportunity in that period, and he tried to play a really poor and confusing ball to not Lookman, what's his name? Nkunku, sorry, who came off the bench, who, again, he looked like he was in mud. He was not on form at all when he came on the pitch. When Salamakers should have just shot, he had time and space on his left foot. But overall, I thought Atalanta were the better team throughout it. They had more possession, 56%, 1.29 expected goals, 17 total shots in. I was going to say total shots in total. No need to say that twice. What am I doing? And compared to AC Milan 6. But at the end of the day, both had one big chance. But this is very skewed. It's not true. I mean, the big chances don't look at. But as you can see, the shots in general prove that Atalanta were the more dominant team throughout the whole game. And I thought that Atalanta were really unfortunate to come away with 1 point in this game. And I actually think that Atalanta have improved massively in the last 4 or 5 games, in my opinion, under Juric. I thought they were a team going into this season where I was like, yeah, quite comfortable fighting for mid-table, potentially pushing for a Conference League, Europa League spot, but I didn't think they'd be too big a threat. But right now, they're on a good little run, and they look a lot more solid, especially offensively, and I think that's down to one man, and I want to highlight him straight away. That's Ademola Lookman. For me, today, I thought he was the best player on the pitch. He won the most duels, well, actually lost the most duels, sorry, but he was awarded the player of the match. But forget that. Forget lost the most duels, because this guy here was pointing his man every single time. And I can't lie, he was causing Salamakers and Tomori on this right-hand side a lot of problems. With Lookman, it's a weird one because in the summer, obviously, we know he wanted to move. He tried to force a move. Percassi wasn't a fan of that. He said, look, you're sitting on the bench. As a punishment, you're starting on the bench. And today he got his first Serie A goal this season, which is crazy in October for a guy like Ademola Lookman, one of the best players in the league. But again, it's just been a lack of game time. He was frozen out for a little bit. Now he's starting to reintegrate himself in the starting 11. And look, let's be real. If Atalanta have any chance of pushing for European spots and solidifying that by the end of the season, they need this man on form. They need this man playing week in, week out. They need this man making a difference because he's their best player. And there's quite a distance between him and any other game winner in that Atalanta team. And he's one of the best game winners in the Serie A right now. That goal we took today, I promise you, no keeper on earth is saving that. It's on Maigna's near post, and Maignan is a good keeper. Maignan pulled off some great saves today, especially on Zappacosta at the end. Pulled off some wicked saves, but no one is saving that on the near post. He struck that with vengeance. He struck that with venom. He struck that as if, bro, if you score, you're getting a move to Real Madrid. You're getting a move to whichever club you want on however much money you want. He smacked that near post, top bins. No one saving that on his left foot. It was an absolutely lethal strike. And look, he only had 2 shots in the game. It wasn't like he was given an abundance of chances, but overall, just his playmaking, his integration in the team, he looked, for me, like by far and away the best player on the pitch, alongside Zappacosta, who I thought was excellent today. Bro, the guy's 33. I thought he was 37, I can't lie, so he's younger than I thought. But he's been a proper servant, and he's been very good since signing for Atalanta, and I thought today he was absolutely excellent. At the end of the second half, Lookman came over, Zappacosta went on the left-hand side, and he was linking up with Lookman. And they were causing a lot of problems, like that chance that I said earlier when Maignan pulled off that really, really good save on that Zappacosta. They were doubling up, they were triple teaming them. And it just looked like the best opportunities of the game were coming through Zappacosta and Lookman, for me personally. So I thought these two here were good. Pasic, of course, got an assist. Ederson, for me, one of the most underrated midfielders in Europe. This guy here, he does the dirty work. Apart from that deflection, which is unfortunate, he didn't really put a foot wrong today. He ran the midfield, and I think this guy here, honestly, I'm surprised nobody has really snatched him up yet. I'm surprised there's not been another big club in Europe sort of lurking. There were rumours about Juventus interested. I think he'd be like a perfect player for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim's system. Look, he completed the most passes today with 62. For me, this guy doesn't really put a foot wrong. He's one of the most consistent midfielders in Europe. He's pretty decent offensively. He's very strong defensively. He's just an engine in that midfield, and I got a lot of love for Ederson. AC Milan, on the other hand, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought today they weren't at the races. Today. The defence, usually as solid as ever, was leaking a lot of chances. As I said, that first half there, that was not an Allegri defensive team at all. They were leaking chances. It was just chance after chance after chance for Atalanta. And the goal was inevitable. But it should have been, as I said at the start, it flattered AC Milan, the result. The fact that it was only 1-1 at halftime. It should have been 2, potentially even 3-1. They looked weak on set pieces defensively. They looked weak in transition. I don't know what it was today. Maignan pulled off a couple good saves to really keep them in it. The midfield as well. I actually thought Fofana was the best out of the 3. I thought that, especially in that 10-minute stretch in the second half, all of AC Milan's best chances were coming through this man here, Fofana. His physical presence, his drive ability with the ball. He looked like he was excellent. I'll be honest. And I'm not the biggest Fofana fan. But today he was really, really good. Richie, of course, got his goal, which is massively skewing his match rating. But again, Richie's one of those where he hasn't started a lot of games this season. He sort of still needs to gel, adapt and whatnot. I think they were missing Rabiot today. Big time AC Milan. Luca Modric today wasn't at the races. I think his age showed a little bit today. He looked a little bit tired, in my opinion. But again, you can't really rely on Luca game in, game out. He is 40, despite the fact that he's still one of the best midfielders in circulation. There's no doubt about it. Leao as well. Really didn't have too many touches of the football. Look, he had 0 shots. 0 shots today from Rafa Leao. I mean, you can't really expect to win a game, AC Milan, if your best attacker's having 0 shots. I mean, we all know how lethal Leao can be. And on his day, he really is one of the best players, if not the best player in the league. He can change a game by himself with his speed, his change of direction, his quick feet. He's a good finisher as well, by the way, for a winger. He's a bit unorthodox the way he drives with the ball and dribbles, but it's super effective. But today, the only Leao moment I really remember was at the start of the game when he did a Ronaldo chop 1-2 he tried to play with. I think Fofana, I don't really remember who it was. But that was a good move, and I was like, oh, look, Rafa looks on it. After that, he just wasn't in it. Jimenez as well got injured, but he was way off it today. Overall, this AC Milan team, they just looked tired today. I mean, Loftus-Cheek looked strong when he came on, and Nkunku looked like he was stuck in mud. Didn't really have much impact, but I think Rabiot's injury and Pulisic's injury, these two, they missed them big time today. And this 3-5-2 with Leao as a striker, I don't like, if I'm being honest. I mean, the thing is with Allegri, I saw this with Chiesa playing up front for Juventus in the 23-24 season. It was Vlahovic, who's like Jimenez in this sense, and then Chiesa, who's Leao in this sense. And I love Rafa, but I just think as a 9 playing off Jimenez, he's not suiting that. He needs to hog the touchline. Rafa needs to be a guy that's on the ball a lot, pointing his defender, trying to beat them, not a second striker, someone playing off a big man like Jimenez, not someone that's playing in the pockets. He's not that kind of player profile, in my opinion, nor was Chiesa. So I think Rafa in this position here is just a bit misunderstood, a bit underutilized. You know, he's just, you're not really going to see the proper Rafa Leao in that position. But honestly, if I was an AC Milan fan, I think I would take a 1-1. I would take a draw. I would take a point from today's game. Going into it, it was like one of those where, in my opinion, if AC Milan had won this would have been a massive statement for, wow, look, guys, we're here. We're title contenders here. We're here to take over. Playing one game a week, beating a massive, like, let's be real, Atalanta, they're not really going to be challenging for the league this year, but it's still a head-to-head. It's still an important head-to-head. They're still going to be in and around fighting for European spots. They're a tough team to take points away. I know that myself. Juventus really struggled against them this season. But if they had won this game, AC Milan, they would have been, I think, only 1 point behind Napoli, and it would have been a big statement. A big statement win away from home at Atalanta, but a draw at the end of the day. Started well, but they capitulated mentally and physically, AC Milan, which was the main thing. I don't know. They looked a bit tired today, which is strange because they only play one game a week. But I'm sure they'll bounce back. They got the players. They got Allegri, who's a good coach, especially defensively. But a massive result for Atalanta. Disappointing in the end in terms of their perspective, because I think they could have easily gotten the 3 points and probably deserved the 3 points over the course of the match. But I think AC Milan fans will take a draw from this match. I don't think they were at the races completely today. And as for the table, Napoli are first with 21 points. They got a big win, 1-0 today away from Lecce. I believe Lecce missed a penalty as well, so a bit of fortune there. But you need fortune in life, especially when fighting and trying to win a league title. Big for Roma. Roma beat Parma, which, let's be real, they probably will. They're at home as well. They'll go joint on points with Napoli, which will be massive for them. AC Milan in there with 18 points. Inter have a chance to be tied on points with them. Who do Inter have? They're Fiorentina, which shouldn't be a complicated game. I mean, Fiorentina really this season have been horrible. And it just sort of like, again, opens the floodgates for other teams to be in and around. Even Bologna, if they win, they're 1 point behind. Como, if they win, they're 2 points behind. And Atalanta have climbed into seventh place right now. But there's still Lazio, Juventus have to play Udinese, so one of them two teams could still go past them. But a big win for Atalanta, pushing for European spots. Big for Juric as well. Big win. Big point, I would say. I was trying to say for Atalanta. But again, it puts pressure on Juric because people were saying Juric was going to be the first coach to get sacked in the Serie A. In reality, it was Igor Tudor, we found out. But I don't think Juric's form is sustainable at the minute. 5 draws in a row, then that's not great. I mean, we've been there as a Juventus fan. We've experienced that. The draw against AC Milan is fine, but the previous ones, bit rough. You don't want to have 5 league draws in a row, bro. Or 5 draws in general. You got Cremonese, you got Slavia Prague, which was a draw. Lazio, Como. I mean, they're not easy fixtures, but you need to eventually convert. For a team like Atalanta and how dominant and competitive, really, they've been in the Serie A over the last 5 years, almost solidifying top 4 pretty much every single season, even the odd season fighting for the Scudetto. That form might be worrying for a Percassi, and I feel like Juric today, he was very tense on the bench. You could see that he was nervous almost. He was playing the occasion, and he was very passionate, which I love and I appreciate from coaches. But you can tell he was a bit on edge, where he was like, I need points. I know I need points. My job is at risk. And today, look, a point against AC Milan, who are going to be title contenders, let's be real, isn't the worst result in the world. But with how the game went, I would say it was a bit unfortunate for Atalanta to only come away with a point. But at the end of the day, that's football. The best team doesn't always win. It was an interesting game. It was a tactical game. I don't think this will change too much. I don't think the ball is in AC Milan's court, but I still think there's just a feeling inside of me that AC Milan, for some reason, will just get the Scudetto over the line. I don't know what it is. I just have that feeling inside of me. I don't really know why. I think they got the players, they got the defensive structure. Let's say they got Allegri, and they're only playing 1 game a week, which I think is so important, especially in a Scudetto race. I look at Napoli, I've seen too many cracks this season. Yes, in the last few games, they've looked a lot better, especially against Inter. But is that sustainable? We'll see. Inter, again, they look strong, but they lost to Napoli. They have a lot of slips, let's say. I don't think there's a clear contender for the Serie A. I think everyone's, or the top 3, let's say, those 3 are pretty similar in terms of level. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me know in the comment section, though, boys, what you thought about this game. Who are the Scudetto favourites? Has it changed? I feel like every single week it's sort of changing statistically who is the favourite. But let me know down below. Like the video if you enjoyed. Share it to some friends. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. Love.